till you bottle. Ride it on the edge. One mistake away from gravel, a glory's ledge. Push it past the limit. Don't you lift or break. If you're not dancing with disaster, you're not wide awake. Throttle till you bottle. This is how we race. In the fire of endurance, we find our place. Side by side into turn 3. Drafting down the straight like we're born to be. F1 pace with an LMP soul. Pit stop dreams, flat out goals. Overtake clean or defend like hell. DRS wide and the gap won't dwell. Discord's lit but the track comes first. Champions are built where the tires burst. Throttle till you bottle. Feel the G's rise. Tearing through the sim world under pixel skies. No reset button, just grit and gears. Through the heat and the heartbreak, the wins and the tears. Till you bottle. It's the racer's creed. Full send in the sim, full heart at speed. From rookies to vets, we ride the storm. In lobbies where legends are born. Camaraderie and chaos, rivals and mates, one shared love. Those checkered flag fades. Throttle till you bottle. Ain't no turning back. Burn the line till the screen fades black. In this digital circus, we chase the flame. One wheel spin closer to fortune or fame. Throttle till you bottle. That's our name. Sim racers united in the ultimate game. Sim racers united in the ultimate engines fire in the dead of night. Rubber on the tarmac, hearts full of fight. Fuel in the veins, sweat on the wheel. We live for the rush, the grip, the feel. Sim seats tied, the rig comes alive. Eyes locked in, no room for drive to survive. From Spa to Suzuka, rain or dry. One more lap, let it fly. Throttle till you bottle. Ride it on the edge. One mistake away from gravel, a glory's ledge. Push it past the limit. Don't you lift or break. If you're not dancing with disaster, you're not wide awake. Throttle till you bottle. This is how we race. In the fire of endurance, we find our place. Side by side into turn 3. Drafting down the straight like we're born to be. F1 pace with an LMP soul. Pit stop dreams, flat out goals. Overtake clean or defend like hell. DRS wide and the gap won't dwell. Discord's lit but the track comes first. Champions are built where the tires burst. Throttle till you bottle. Feel the G's rise. Tearing through the sim world under pixel skies. No reset button, just grit and gears. Through the heat and the heartbreak, the wins and the tears. Till you bottle. It's the racer's creed. Full send in the sim, full heart at speed. From rookies to vets, we ride.
I'm not even getting my buttons right.
where legends are born.
It's an absolutely hopeless case on my end. But anyway, it's about time we got this show on the road. Hello, everybody. Apparently not hello, everybody, because as it turns out, my camera's decided to have a moment, which is very interesting. Don't really know why that's happened. There I am, maybe, possibly. Yes, I am! Yes! He's back in the commentary box. You all thought I might have been driving. No, absolutely not. There is no more momentous of an occasion than the season finale of TTYB. It is round number 12. We've made it. Finally, after all of the torrential traffic in the world. Hello, gorgeous. Who's who's messaging me on that? Who forgot to log in off the burner account? No, I'm kidding. Hello there. 2 weeks of beating us was enough for you. Nah. It's got nothing to do with competition or anything like that. I just wanted to be here. I wanted to be in the commentary box for the season finale, and so I am, which I am very, very blessed about. Here we are, though. It's about time. Hello, handsome Fortis. How are you? Hope you're good, man. Hope you are all good. Every time I drove... This is true. Every time I drove, Infinity definitely did DNF. I'm not going to legislate for anything, but the point is, it was very unfortunate. What is also unfortunate for all our drivers, provided that I am seeing this correctly, it is, well, raining. It is raining in Australia, ladies and gentlemen. The light rain is going down. Of course, no intermediate tyres, but that doesn't matter. It's a reverse championship finale for the sprint race. Maybe it's lights out and away we go, and absolutely everybody's got a penalty. This is exactly what you came to see. Fortis with the resub, 6th month streak, you absolute legend. Oh, there's a massive crash. Everybody's sideways. There's hardly anyone that isn't horizontal. Massive pile up into the wall. Goes Kylo Ren and Fortis. Chaldenby leads, but he's got a massive time penalty. Highwire phases through the VAR car. There will be a thorough investigation into that one. The Space Boy pirouettes in front. No, it's not. What? I don't know where Space Boy. Oh, he's bundled in. It's a Belgium 1998. A somersaulting around. Goes that light blue car. I don't know F2 cars well enough. I assume that's Bilbo Swagger Muffins. And then there were 6. Make that... Well, apparently Crazy Casper isn't out. Now they are. Now there's only 2. Infinity looking to be the last one standing. As Cardin Hong, hello Cardin Hong, hope you're doing well, says this grid is absolutely incredible. You are absolutely correct there. Space Boy's out, which means Infinity has lasted the longest in the demolition derby of Formula 2. And after, well, DNFing out of every single race that I drove in at least, he now has found his flow once again. And I applaud that. For valor, for glory. With good grace, he DNFs out, but it will be the race win for Infinity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Formula 2. Here in Throttle to Your Bottle. Thank you so much for being here. Infinity Candy said Champione. Top step of the podium. As well, Crazy Casper. Taylor O'Brien says rigged. And Cardin Hong says Lion09 should be spraying the oil of shame. That is a Cole for Christmas replica right there. Well, there you go. That's the end of that. Apparently, well, Infinity's... I imagine it will be because... Who flipped? I believe it was Bilbo Swagger Muffins, but don't quote me on that. Infinity wins, then it's the 2 ART cars. That's basically all you need to know. I have a feeling, though, that we are here because, of course, sprint race is reverse championship order. And, well, rather obviously, that hasn't happened. So we are now going to reset, have a reverse grid. I don't know if that was to stall time so I could be here and just savor the moment and try and bring you all the wonderful words and phenomenal phrases that I have in my locker. But if it was, I appreciate it. So, here we are. Hello, sunshine, Bilbo Swagger Muffins. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing very well. That was a sensational somersault, for lack of a better term. Let me zoom this in a little bit more, because I feel like I'm a bit far away. Not that that has made it any better, but I think that is a pretty decent shout, so we will take that. 2 days in a row, 2 different leagues, 2 flips in the race. Yep, sounds about right, Crazy Casper, to be honest. Zoom right in. Why would I do that? Welcome to the TTYB stream, and all you get is iCam. As you can see, I am looking quite tired, but that's because I drove in my iCar. Peak racing? What do you mean? Is this not peak content? let me tell you a story. Do you know what? As I'm zoomed in, what annoys me about the general British public when they're driving on the roads, is, well, actually just the British public, to be honest with you, but also the fact that driving back today, I was scheduled to be back for about 10 to 7. That's a good time. That means we can go racing quicker, and that means less sadness. But guess what? There were 2 accidents not on my side of the road. So that obviously means everyone has to turn into PC Plum and look into the other side of the road when the accident does not even apply to us. It's a joke, I'll be honest with you. It is an absolute joke. Not happy at all. Curiosity of the general British bonanza is an absolute joke, and they're all frauds. And that didn't make me very happy. But I'm here. We're going to go racing. So you can't ask for much more than that. It is going to be a sprint race affair, and very, very quickly, they've got the grid sorted, and we are going to go, well, believe it or not, for a sensational sprint around Straya. So it's time to turn some worlds topsy-turvy. For those of you that don't know, obviously, there have been a couple of weeks of not TTYB, me being on the mic. Instead, I've been behind the wheel. I had my debut at round number 10, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Started from the back, finished P3. Could have been a race win. Didn't execute it very well, I will admit. Monza, I executed much better. Decided to actually qualify. And what that meant was I could fight at the front. And what that meant was I won. And that was very fun. I was only a 10th away from fastest lap as well. Chowderme kind of priced that away from me, so maybe it's sad, man. Anyway, that's not really the point. What is the point, though, is the conclusion to this championship. Very, very simply, Chowderme has to just score a few points today. Of course, there's the sprint race points. I can't remember what the point system for that is. Someone might well tell me, but I just don't remember. I know what the race situation is, though. And that is 25 points, I believe, is the gap between Chowderme and Safso. So that means if Chowderme scores at least 5 points, that being P16, because we score down from up from first all the way down to 20th place. Everybody gets points. Everybody's a winner in TTYB. But if Chowderme scores 16th place, Safso wins, doesn't get fastest lap. Chowderme is champion on countback because they have 5 race wins to their name. Equally, if Chowderme gets that 5th place and fastest lap, no matter where, not 5th place, 5 points, 16th place and a fastest lap in the race, Safso, no matter where they finish, the closest championship challenger will no longer mathematically be in the equation. But that's just with the points on offer. We also have the sprint. Safso could close up in that sprint race, and that would mean a rather slippery second stanza for what will be the Kick Sauber driver and championship leader of Chowderme. But we shall see. It is all conclusions that we will come to during this race weekend. First of all, though, it is time for a scintillating sprint round Straya. As Crazy Casper says, conclusion, Chowderme is your world champion. Well, it might seem like a foregone conclusion, I will be honest. But it's never ever set in stone. TTYB is never set in stone. Still 3, what do you mean still 3 minutes? Until we go racing? Aww. I want to go racing. There's no names on the garages either. It's just a barren wasteland in the Melbourne paddock. 1934. I'll tell you a fun fact about the year 1934, because I seem to have that now in my fact bank, and clearly I'm not just looking up at Google. A fun fact about 1934 is that Donald Duck made his film debut in 1934. You were born? Right, Casper. Enough about that, mate. We're not doing that. We don't do that around here. No, I wasn't born in 1934. Otherwise, I've aged really well to be, what was that, 92 years old. I've done very well, actually. No, Donald Duck made their film debut June the 9th, 1934. So there you go. Donald Duck has had about 16 lives, given the lifespan of a duck. Not that that's accurate calculation, but I don't care. Infinity's now posted this 3 times, saying, can I do the car reviews like I used to do? No. Back to the action we go. Into the pit lane. Casper, don't you start either. I've had a day. I'm not going to rule out car reviews, actually. I do have plans for that, but that's for another day and another channel. Here, though, it is all about the F2 Sprint, and while they're all choosing their tyres and setups, this is the situ. Everybody on those medium compound tyres, the yellow stripe tyres, this is your grid, of course. Reserves at the back, those being Meme Ruler, then Rose Q Pro, Simply Will, Lion 09, and Bilbo Swagger Muffins. Championship leader Chowderby starts P15 with Safso next door in P14. Yuri, Tanadran, Fortis make it through our first 10 of the equation, and then into the top 10 we go. Mackie is in 10th with Duty in 9th, Highwire Kev, Infinity in P6. So Infinity, I'm just saying, you've got to win the race. Taylor O'Brien, Crazy Casper, having a crazy time in P5. The Flying Scotsman having to chase down the Elegant Englishman of Benjamin Vince. Beaksy, Spaceboy, and then it's Kylo Ren on pole position for this sprint race. Reverse championship order. If I did reverse championship order, I think I'd actually start P1. Why didn't I race this weekend? That's terrible news. Anyway, everyone on equal pegging before we get to the realistic affair. The Paddock Club are phasing through the windows of their respective gantries. Look how thrilled they are. More importantly, look at the guy. Top center of your picture was just watching nothing, quite frankly. But we are watching this, though. A blockbuster spectacle. It's lights out, and away we go. Space Boys dropped anchor off the start immediately, falling like a brick down to the outside of the top 10. Kylo Ren leads, Beaksy up to P2, Crazy Casper and Infinity making up places immediately. Kev down to P5 with Duty in 6th. How are Chowderby and Safso doing? Well, championship leader is going to make it 3 wide. Into turn number 3. Waits for the contact. There is contact, though. And was that Safso? It was Safso. No, it wasn't. I have no idea who it was. I saw someone without an end plate. Chowderby now down to P17. Looking to see who on earth it was. It might well have been the Meme Ruler. And I'm measuring it by the damage I witnessed on the left-hand side. Yuri's already up to P9, 8. Screw it. Front of the grid already. Infinity's up to P2. And I believe it was the Meme Ruler. That's an unhappy Chowderby on a championship charge. But down the inside goes Chowderby. No real resistance put up by the Meme Ruler, so on they go. Spaceboy looking for the move in the chicane. Looks for 1 switch, 2 switch, not gonna happen. So nice, he will try it twice. You know he will. But there, on the inside, is the pink car. That is of Simply Will, and immediately nerfed is Spaceboy. More mistakes and complete chaos reigning into the wall. Chowderby is round on lap number 1 of 12. And immediately, there is trouble in Championship Town. But the crusade is not over for Safso. Into the top 10 already. Looking to the inside. Showing the nose on Simply Will. But thinks better of it. It's all about being sensible at this early stage. Meme Ruler with a 10-second penalty into the pit lane. Screw it, everyone's in. Fortis, Benji, Rose Q Pro. 4 drivers already falling foul to lap number 1. Kev making moves, staying on the track. Simply Will not staying on the track. And Safso slaloms through into P9. It's AAIX cars going hammer and tong, and it's Highwire reaching a new level to P5. Up round the outside goes Kev. Is it a clean move? It is slightly off track. It's a 3-second penalty, but the move counts, so who really cares? Crazy Casper now on the move. It's all a script. It is all being settled. Car after car, corner after corner, apex after apex, as Cardinal says, Simply Will just simply doing his drive. Poet, and you didn't know it. Oh no! Even more problems! Beaksy goes round. No damage for Safso, but there is damage for Tanadran. Beaksy plummeting down the pecking order. Lost the car through the chicane. It might well have been contact. And that will send the car spiraling. Front wing damage to Highwire absolutely confirms that. And it's more devastation for the AIX team. Not complete conundrums for Safso, though. Through he goes, and Crazy... Oh, good grief! Crazy Casper! Doing a reverse Piastri on the inside of the penultimate corner. It is a day for losing front wing parts on a racetrack, if not a full front wing. Safso up to P8 again. That is great news for them. Chowdenby languishing in P14 as a result of all the pain they've had to deal with. Now with a little bit of a gap, can just make their way down the road. Look at the left-hand side, though. End plate missing. Trouble for the VAR car. No problems whatsoever for Safso. Sizes up Kev. Knows that Kev will run it wide. Goes down the inside. Very rude from Kev. And Safso provides a complimentary shoulder barge. And, well, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really. But through goes the Campos car into P7. All they needed to do. It's Mackie also looking to make the move stick. Round the outside of the high-speed chicane. I believe it's called the Ascari corner. Which is quite unbelievable, given how not Australian Ascari is. As Cardin Holmes says, typical Kev driving. Well, no real... Oh, massive moment in the wall again behind. That's even more damage. That is curtains for Tanidran. A really heavy shunt. Meme rulers crashed at the exit of turn number 3. That is day done for the MP Motorsport driver. No campaign to be had. And that is constituency lost, if you know what I'm saying. Spaceboy with a real opportunity to make manoeuvres. Safso equally with a chance to finally get Simply Will without contact, without chaos. Cool and composed for the championship chaser. Up to P6 they go. Infinity, meanwhile, leads this race, and Duty has also displaced Kylo Ren. Crazy Casper retiring in the pit lane. It's devastation for 2 drivers at a rapid rate of knots. Well, Crazy Casper did say they would do their best to do a Checo Abu Dhabi 21 on Infinity. I have a feeling it didn't really work, because Infinity leads with Duty in hot pursuit. Kylo Ren in P3 with Yuri up to 4th. Yuri's gone under the radar. P4 for the high-tech driver. P3 in their crosshairs, and not long before they have P2 and 1 up for the taking as well. Is it a move to be made into this right-hander? No, just holds it behind for the time being. Play it nice and patient. Kev gets another 3-second time penalty meanwhile. Tanidran, despite the damage, is still moving forward. Well, there might be a reason why Kev has 3-second time penalties and perpetual problems. No front wing whatsoever. Rose Q is disconnected. That is not ideal whatsoever. They're travelling through the beginning of Sector 2 right now. Beaksy's recovery drive begins here. Through they go on Bilbo's swaggly muffins. Simply Will goes right round the outside of Tanidran. Of course, Kev into the pit lane for a new front wing. But now the snake can begin. Down the back straight. Duty, meanwhile, does get it through. On the inside, Infinity might have washed wide as well. Only caught the end of it, but we see the result of the passing move. We have a new race leader. It's Duty in the high-tech. In the Williams car. Go on. Tanidran and Lion having a nice little battle. Lion also. Great race from them so far. But championship leader Chowdenby is here. Looking for a rampant recovery, and at the moment doing a fantastic job at it. Oh, Duty has gone through down into P2. Infinity makes his way through. Back into the lead of this race. A slight yellow flag for a moment. These two just holding their own against Yuri. It's great news for them in the context of their race. Of course it is. Might well have been Safso, and it was Safso. That's why we had the brief yellow flag. Down behind Simply Will. But now round Tanidran, who has no grip whatsoever into the chicane. One car between himself and Chowdenby, who has to make hay while the sun is shining despite the front wing damage. Looks for the outside line. Won't get the outside line, but it's just going to be a sensational switchback. Not without contact, but keeps the car on the straight and narrow. That's up to P9. Safso, where have they gone? They're just P9, never mind. I'm reading the wrong cars entirely. I'm so out of it, but there is front wing damage for the Campos as well. It's level pegging between himself and Chowdenby. The 2 championship protagonists lying astern on the track. And this is all we wanted to see, ladies and gentlemen. Duty takes the DRS again. Uses that to his advantage to claim P1, but Infinity now has that second delightful dose of DRS and a double dose of DRS for that matter. Simply Will simply gets a penalty. Indeed they do. Infinity looking to take the lead in the VAR car inside of the chicane. We're going to run side by side through the chicane. A little bit of a moment, but that is fine. A shimmy and a shake and a sublime maneuver once again. P1 on the road, but all that battling has shipped the time down to this man who looks to plunder P1 and 2. So, context in the race then. Infinity leads, Duty P2, Yuri is P3, gap stabilised until you get to Simply Will, where it is a close-quartered combat affair between themselves, Lion09 and Safso. Chowdenby only one place behind the championship chaser. Any damage they can limit would be absolutely ideal. So far, they've done a very good job at it. Top 3, nose to tail as they head through the reprofile turn 3 as of 2022. The whole circuit with a myriad of overtaking opportunities. Perhaps in comparison to what they had previously, a Spaceboy DNFs, it's devastation. Massive misfortune for Spaceboy, but perhaps easy pickings for the two high-tech cars. Infinity still holding the lead for now. Duty just wanting to hold it behind because there could be a double move to be made. And if they can do that, firstly, Constructors' Championship as well. Haven't looked at that. We'll look at the context, though. After this race, that could all be very interesting. Infinity does hold the lead, though. Duty and Yuri just playing it patient, biding their time. There are still 5 tours of this Melbourne circuit to go. Safso looked to make a move stick on Lion09, but the Lion does not concern himself with dropping places. So he hasn't. But a second dose of DRS might well put that conversation to bed. No DRS, though. It's actually Lion09 making the moves. How about that? That all the Lion concerns himself with is making marvellous moves. Duty goes through, down the inside at turn number 1 to take the lead of this race. It will be a second dose of the rear wing, maximum flappage. Infinity dives it to the inside, mostly also to defend from Yuri, who charges in like a bullet in a china shop, and more so because contact with the diffuser of Infinity. No harm done though, no damage dealt, and all 3 of them carry on their merry way, all in a class of their own. Kylo Ren in a comfortable P4, Highwire in a comfortable P5. No oil of shame for Lion09. No, the Lion does not concern themselves with drinking lubricant. Perhaps now, though, gets their braking all crossed up. Safso has a great opportunity to make their way through, and so they do. Into P8 on the road they go. It's actually Infinity moving through, then Yuri going through. Into P2, switching hands, the leader drops down to P3. And Yuri putting himself in the prime position to win this. 3-second penalty for Beaksy Hun, who is recovered to P11, which is actually absolutely commendable. Rose Q, absolutely not. I can invite you back. I think I've got you added. If not, please add me. It's literally just my Twitch, well, not this Twitch username, but my Twitch username. I believe I have you, and yes, I do. Invite, there you go, because most importantly of all, we want everybody in the conversation of racing. While that's been happening, Chowdenby has gone through, put a place between himself and Safso on the road, and this matters. This is crucial for the championship. To sign, seal, and deliver it in the VAR car's corner. Safso will not give this up, though. Not one bit. Rose Q has joined. That is absolutely delightful news. They can get back to racing. Meanwhile, more spicy maneuvers is actually Lion09 dropping the ball slightly. So through goes Chowdenby. Safso, can they finally get Lion09 down the inside? Goes our faithful PS1 Hagrid to conjure up a masterful switchback out of turn number 4. Gets it all crossed up in a wall. Goes Safso. And that could really put it to bed. I don't know what the context of the sprint points are, but that could be it. The ball of the championship is in Chowdenby's course. Safso sliding around. The rear tyres are absolutely ghosting. In fact, possibly just doing burnouts for fun. Facing the camera. Hello, Safso. I see you. I see you, sir. Don't you worry. A shimmy and a shake. And on Safso goes on their merry way, but that could be championship sealed for Chaldenby. And at this point, if anybody knows how the sprint points work, please do let me know, because I am in shambles. Yuri's taken the lead in the meantime. We all saw it coming, and it has happened. What would have been, I've no doubt, an academic move with DRS, and they've already broken a second. What a race Yuri has had. Stayed completely out of trouble. That's all that they needed to do. Infinity almost clawing back onto DRS, but it's not going to happen. Not this time. Yuri moves through. Safso with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Down in P12. It's Yuri, Infinity, Duty, Kylo Ren, Highwire, Mackie, Simply Will, Chaldenby in P8 with Lion 09, and Beaksy rounding out the top 10. Safso peels into the pit lane. What I imagine will be a stop onto the soft compound tyres to set a roaring fastest lap. And to be fair, the Campos drivers, they are now line astern on the track. And in fact, double stacking. Very interesting. Cardin Hong again says the typical oil of shame for Lion 09. Meanwhile, it's a shameful braking zone for Infinity. Just can't quite get to grips with it. Duty keeping a cool and calm head with DRS. Infinity defends the inside. Will it be round the outside for Duty? Brave on the brakes. Almost looks to make it happen, but compromises the momentum. The chance for Infinity to drive on alongside. They can just keep at the rear quarter. It could be a dive on through, but Duty does enough. Through to P2. Goes the high-tech driver. A high-tech 1-2 on the road. And all I can say is there was an oil slick in that braking zone for Infinity. Because it's the only way to explain that. More penalties raining in the meantime. That's the penalty situation, ladies and gentlemen. A myriad of track limit penalties, some more so than others. 1.5 tours to go of this Australian Grand Prix track in Formula 2. And Yuri is set to take the sprint win by quite some margin. Bilbo Swaggermuffins goes through. A slight slide on the outside, but it's no harm done. In fact, it's going to be a delightful duel between the two of them. Slight contact, almost throws Beaksy off kilter, but now the DRS is in their favour. This could be where we see the moves happen. Maybe even for P3 Infinity. Lock up for Duty this time. And confidence now flows the way of Infinity. Look at the snap of traction. Duty wants to plant the power down as early as possible. But it's all just a patient game you have to play. Psychological demons are the worst possible to try and deal with. Infinity cleverly closes DRS. Does not opt to use it. Wants to stay behind. Now opens the rear wing flap. Maximum flappage towards turn number 3 to keep their prey firmly in their crosshairs. Meanwhile, Reticule was set. Nay, Beaksy has blazed on through past Bilbo's Swaggermuffins. Into P10 on the road. The big conversation, of course, is that P3 battle. What on earth happens here? Oh, look! Your saviour is here! Yuri providing his teammate with DRS. It's been a low-key drive, but he's destined Duty for glorious purpose. The rear wing flap opens to secure a high-tech 1-2, surely, unless Infinity has one final trick up their sleeve. A brazen corner cut to try and keep them as close as possible to making a move. Will it be a dive down the inside to at least try something? Shows the nose, but it's not enough. Time runs out. The top 3 line astern. What a race we have had here in the sprint. I apologise for missing so much, but Marvel in Melbourne belongs to the man who has provided a cinematic comeback through the field. Yuri crosses the line and will win the sprint race here in Australia. A delightful drive for both high-tech cars. As scything into the wall goes a Campos car, a Safso in the background. Duty takes P2. Infinity claims a podium here in TTYB. I don't drive, he finishes the race, claims a podium while they're at it. The Super Soft Tyres fastest lap goes to Rose Q. Congratulations. Kylo Ren in P4. Highwire in 5th. Mackie in 6th. Chaldenby recovers to 7th. And I don't think... Wait a minute. Let me just be completely clear on this. How do the points work? Because if they think... If they work, I think the way they work, then Christopher Chaldenby has done it. They are champion, courtesy of this sprint race. But that is, well, that's all. Of course, if they DNF and they get no points, which I think is entirely possible. Safso claims 31 points. They're equal on points. Might still be one on countback. But I am going to wait on that front. He says it's the standard points for the sprint race. I think, ladies and gentlemen, what we have just ascertained is Season 3's Drivers' Champion. If maths serves me correctly, count back into the equation, results into the equation, Chaldenby's done it. But I'm going to save that for the main race. Because there's still a full race to go. There's still time for me to conjure up all the poetry I need to be the modern-day Shakespeare of the TTYB crew as much as I can be. But the podium celebrations, let the champers flow, or sparkling 7-Up. Because why would you have flat 7-Up? You absolute weirdos. But anyway, high-tech 1-2. A delightful drive from Yuri, a delightful drive from Duty, who knows exactly what score there was to settle. Infinity P3, Kylo Ren in 4th, with Highwire in 5th, Mackie 6th, Chaldenby in 7th, with Simply Will 8th, Lion09 in 9th, rather convenient, and Bilbo Swaggermuffins rounds out the top 10. Beaksy, Fortis, Kev, Tanadran, Safso, Rose Q Pro, and I believe Benji round out our finishing order with Space Boy, Crazy Casper, and Meme Ruler failing to finish. Yuri says exactly what I'm saying. That was some wonderful teamwork. And I agree. It was some scintillating teamwork. Well, well, well. There you go. And yes, I was going to mention this, so thank you for reminding me. Regardless, but I do appreciate it. Infinity says, quite rightly, 5-second race, post-race pen from last race that he got for some contact with Roll, I believe it was. But either way, that 5-second penalty, they have traded it in for a qualifying ban, so Infinity is going to be starting from the back. As Benjamin Vince says, this game is very bad. Yellow wing, and they didn't change it at the pit. This is why I always, at the beginning, just set it to yes to change the wing damage. Because I do not trust our overlords at Electronic Arabia. I do not trust them one bit. I don't know why that's... I'm going to do it on here, just to move it down a tiny bit. So I don't look like I'm completely phasing out of shot. There you go. Infinity says, I just want Driver of the Day. Driver of the Day farming, you say? That is very good. Time for some chaos once again. It's 5 red lights. Away we go. There's already a penalty as Infinity moves into the lead straight away. Oh, there's immediate donuts on the starting grid. There's Mamu says, I have no luck in F2 whatsoever. Luckily, we are done with it. No more F2. Oh, into the wall goes Kylo Ren, our pole sitter. Apparently still not out. Give it like 6 business years for race control to realise. There you go. Loads of people out. Crazy Casper leads. Crazy Casper is going for a siesta through the sandbox. Lion09's there. Massively into the wall goes Space Boy. That is out of the race for you, Sunshine. Crazy Casper. Where do they... Oh, almost at near George Russell corner. Does Crazy Casper, though, go for George Russell corner? It's a race between them and Lion09. Oh, Crazy Casper wants this win on the track. They've only got a few meters left before they have to retire. Because otherwise that will be a penalty carried over to next season. Do they do it? Just one more corner. Oh, into the wall they go, and they've won. The oil of shame for Lion09. I'm beginning to feel there's some suspect motives, Cardin Hong. Like, honestly, spray the oil online. I don't know what that means. Taylor O'Brien says, I wanted the win. Crazy Casper, you got the win. No ghosting this time. Mamu says it's not good news, apparently. It's not F2, because that's where they're only somewhat decent. I mean, I don't know. I'd argue you're decent at F1, personally. Cardin Hong says it's not what you think. Well, throttle to your bottle has just taken on a completely different meaning. Because the bottle is WD-40. but it's a slip and slide set of affairs that sends Crazy Casper to the top step. And that is quite unbelievable. I've sent what happened to me in the Race Clips channel. Fantastic news. Well, meanwhile, that's your finishing order for this week. Crazy Casper with their first ever TTYB victory. So there you go. And, well, that's the end of the conversation, really. They are the Drivers' Champion. I think we just inflate the number of points to times it by 1,000. And with that, we have our new champion. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What a time. What a time. Well, here we are. I'm very itchy everywhere because I've got hay fever. Mainly on my nose and my eyes, so I do apologise. But here we are. It's great to be in the room with you all once again on the TTYB show. Wouldn't have it any other way. I do apologise for my absence in numerous ways. Number one, work. And number two, driving. Yes, driving. That's why I've not quite let Challenby win the championship early. I've thrown some conundrums into the equation for him. Mainly winning Monza, which probably wasn't in the script. But second race, I did manage to do it. I trusted the race pace would work. Never practiced a qualifying lap, but trusted the race pace, and lo and behold, it worked very well. So I'm very happy about that. There you go. Fun times. On to F1 in Australia. And Australia, fun track. I like it. 4 DRS zones, complete chaos to be had, lots of overtaking opportunities, and a game of strategy more than anything else. Tyre wear is brutal, though. Make no mistake. The one-stop, tricky at the best of times. In those realistic cars, though, it just became even trickier. So there you go. Cardenhong says, prediction, Kev causes a big crash at the back. To which Crazy Casper retorts, is that really a prediction at this point? Well, I'll leave that to you two to discuss. There you go. In the world of actual Formula 1, testing's been going on, which is excellent. I am mighty, mighty proud of Williams. Super proud of them. Couldn't be more proud, actually. The fact that they've done the amount of laps that they have done more laps than Aston Martin across both tests, is really a highly commendable achievement, and I'm super proud. So, very good. I don't think that means we are completely quick, by any stretch of the imagination, just to be quite clear. I think there are 4 clear standouts, and they're exactly who you think they are. Even though it's testing, the driving language of all the cars, I can just immediately tell exactly what the status quo is going to be. But there you go. That is all to be revealed as well. In the, oh, yes. Infinity has Love Heart Squashies. The GOAT. That is absolutely excellent stuff. You gotta love it. You have got to love it. Can we all agree we have a soft spot for Haas? Honestly, Haas looks amazing. Haas looks absolutely divine. Probably my favourite livery on the entire grid, barring Williams, because I'm not biased. And also Red Bull. I really like Red Bull's livery. In fact, oh, that's what we haven't done since the last time we all gathered together. But it's what we can do. So, we are all, of course, gathered here today to discuss our ranking of all 11 liveries on the grid. Because we haven't been able to do that. The most recent ones have literally been released this week. But for the season finale of TTYB, I'd love to know your thoughts. What do we think? Raw Beans go. That sprint was, well, complete rap, if you know what I'm saying. Absolute bollocks, to add to that equation. But we're going to rank all the liveries, from 1 being the best all the way down to 11 being the worst. I will let you have joint favourites, joint middle of the packs, joint worsts. I don't really care. I'm trying to think of what my order would be. I know what my top 3 are, in no particular order, and that is Haas, Williams, and Red Bull, because I'm not biased. Then who do we have? We have, of course, McLaren are McLaren. They're the same. They are very, very orange, though. Crazy Casper is in with their first rankings. So, Haas, favourite livery. Very good choice. We then have Red Bull in P2. Ferrari in P3. Very nice. Cadillac in 4th with their asymmetric livery, but it's clean. It's cool cut. No reason why you can't put it there. Williams in 5th. I'm glad they made your top 5, my friend. Audi in 6th with Racing Bulls, Mercedes, Alpine, and McLaren rounding out the top 10. Aston Martin plumb last for Mr. Crazy Casper. That is very interesting. Hello, Cafe GM. Hope you're all good. I just got the game, F1 25. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you really enjoy it. You'll see some of the cutthroat action that happens in a few moments' time. We have a qualifying session to get on with at some point. Good evening to you, Katie. Hello, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. I made it. I made it. I'm sorry I was late, but I am here. The journey back I had from work was ridiculous. People are hating on Ferrari, but I find it really good. I find Ferrari really polarizing. I don't really know why. I think it's a better shade of red than last year, in my opinion. But it's why opinions are opinions. Let's make that quite clear. I'm also late, so I've got no right to tell you off. Fair enough. We're in the same boat. I appreciate that. Raw Beans in with their second ranking of F1 liveries. They say Red Bull P1, Haas P2. There's a pretty common theme with the top two here. Cadillac in P3 with V-Carb in 4th. Interesting. Williams in P5, consistency there. Mercedes 6th, Ferrari 7th, McLaren in 8th, Aston in 9th, Alpine in 10th, with Audi being the absolute worst. I'm glad Audi is supermarket apparently. Audi and Alpine are very low in your estimations, because that's where they would be in my rankings as well, right at the bottom. So, good list there as well. I don't know how I feel about Cadillac, really. The thing I feel with Cadillac is I just feel kind of disappointed, because I wish they'd have used the same kind of livery colours as they do in the World Endurance Championship, or WEC. I wish they'd done that. The fact that it was kind of silver and black gave me 1, Mercedes vibes, and 2, Apex GP vibes. So I can't really look at Cadillac as anything other than the F1 movie car, in some aspects. But it's cool that what they've done. It's not near the bottom for me, personally, but it's just a bit disappointing, really. Katie in with the 3rd ranking, the hat trick, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 is RB. Do you mean Red Bull? Yes, you do. Had to just double take. Red Bull, yes. Williams P2. I knew you were my favourite TTYB member for a reason. Then we've got Haas in P3, V-Carb in 4th, Merc in 5th, McLaren in 6th, Aston Martin in P7 with Cadillac 8th, Ferrari in 9th. Jesus. But Alpine and Audi are at the bottom of the pile, and that is the correct answer. So there you go. Williams were late to first, PST, because we're still trying to find... No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why Williams were late. Because you saw that pit lane screen. You know, the pit lane monitor? The eyes that were darting around it? They spent a good 3 months programming that. That is not accurate information, but for the context of why they missed Barcelona, I'm going to say it is. Good fun. Williams livery is gorgeous. Do you know, honestly, when I saw it, because it's on a 2023 show car at Grove, it looks okay on that. It looks so much better on the actual 2026 car. As soon as I saw it out on track in Bahrain, I was like, yes, this is peak livery design. Love it. Not quite as peak as Haas and Red Bull, but it is beautiful. Absolutely love it. Think I could program that in one day and I'm in high school. Thank you, Infinity. I will tell that to James Vowles. We are heading into quali. We are indeed. I'm just stalling time because I don't really want to show a loading screen. 4 points for 7th. We are all debating what on earth the point system is for the sprint race, but there you go. Everyone all saying Mercedes is sandbagging for them to get a 1-2. Mercedes' reliability ain't great, though, which is interesting. Or not as great as Ferrari, who haven't switched a single engine out since Barcelona. That is mental. That is actually mental reliability. They could also be tuning it down all the way, but they still have good pace. So I think Ferrari's engine is actually pretty decent. As, oh no! Lion09 may drink and gargle the oil of shame. Because they have retired from qualifying already. Unless they had a qualifying ban as well from eons ago that I had no idea about. Or they just wanted to start from back anyway. Fair play. Williams should sue Vegas for stealing their idea with the... quite right. Vegas, screw you. How dare you. Meanwhile, cars. Cars and more cars in qualifying for a cutthroat session. We have Kylo Ren in the Aston Martin making their way out. But also, very much champion-elect, Chaldenby. Getting those Pirellis on the move and in the groove. For what might be a championship. We don't know. Anyway, my mum's friend operates... Shut up. No way, Katie. That's insane. My mum's friend operates the Vegas Fit. That's ridiculous. mean, fair play. Fair play. And Aston is solo due to the reveal itself. That's fair. That's very fair. Fortis is also in, meanwhile, whilst people are on outlaps, just generating some temperature and energy through the tyres. There's a corner cut. Oh, dear. There's Haas, number 1. Williams, number 2. Get in. So glad Williams are high up in the estimations of many. Merc in P3, McLaren in 4th, RB, Red Bull, that is, in 5th, the V-Carb in 6th. Audi is 7th, Ferrari 8th, Cadillac 9th, with Alpine rightly slumping in either 10th or 11th. Aston, again, right at the bottom. Super, super interesting. Should I predict who's going to be knocked out in Q1? It's only a short qualifying session, so don't worry. But you can predict who will qualify last. I have a feeling it's Lion 09. I shall contact my sources. Well, there you go. Absolutely contact the sources, as Chaldenby is on a flying lap. And this is what poetry emotion looks like, ladies and gentlemen. A champion in perfect synergy with the car they've become so accustomed to. 5 race wins so far this season in Gravity of Otto. Could make it a sumptuous 6th. The pole position is the first car to try and tick off. There are a few drivers on intermediates just to get that time on the board. I did not go for that. It's a purple sector 2, a purple sector 1. Of course, Chaldenby, the first of the bunch to set a flying lap time. Brake at the 100-meter board, pinch the car into the apex. Rotation of the Sauber isn't really the issue. It's more the fact that the rear end just wants to kill you at every opportunity. Lock up into the penultimate corner, round the final corner. Pray that the aerodynamics and the car complies, which it does. DRS wide open, and Chaldenby crosses the line for a 1:16.9. Nice. Why does everyone hate the Aston? It's like top 3. Well, Yuri goes 4/10 faster. 1:16.5. That is a meteoric blow. In the kick Sauber camp, Spaceboy goes faster as well into P2. Just by 15 thousandths of a second, but that is all you need. More times flooding in. Crazy Casper, the second Mercedes into P4 with Benji and Tanadran 5th and 6th. Hardly anything to separate them as well. Kylo Ren set their first time into P8, quickly usurped by Bilbo Swaggermuffin with a 17.6 and P5 on the table at the moment. As Katie quite rightly says, oh, that is pristine. My God. 17 flat to the millisecond from Fortis. And if that doesn't deserve some kind of award, I don't know what does. Because that is supremely satisfying. Less satisfying than Aston's livery for the meme material it provided. I don't like the green on the Aston livery. See, I quite like the green on the Aston livery. I just don't like the way that they've put the carbon fibre black on the side pod. There's front wing damage, for God's sake. What has gone on here? Infinity has probably crashed. Well, they haven't crashed. They're waiting in the pit lane. Someone's lost a piece of front wing. Who's done that? It's not Yuri. I'll tell you that much. Was it a Red Bull? Yes, it was. Beaksy's lost their end plate. That makes my OCD brain satisfying. Do you know what? Should we just highlight Fortis a bit more? There they are. Supreme satisfaction on all accounts. Some more lap times flooding in, by the way, but not nearly representative. This one should be, though. High wire in the Red Bull. You want to break out the black box if you can. Just push the car to its absolute limits. It's all a game of confidence in the car. That's the main thing. But across the line goes Highwire, and it's 7th place with a 17.801. Very decent effort indeed. 3 drivers to standouts at the moment, all in the 1 minute 16s. Yuri, Spaceboy, Chaldenby. Thank you for what? What did I miss? The fact you have a supremely satisfying lap time. 17.000. Crazy Casper is going for another flying lap. Of course, the beauty of Australia in terms of qualifying is how short the track is. Duty, though, that's much more like it. V-Carb 1 and 2 on the road. Space are not that crazy. Casper not going for 2 because they're in the wall. That's front wing damage and blazing on through his high wire. No, it's not high wire, it's Beaksy to just assess the graveyard. 100th up despite the front wing damage, by the way. Just concealing their pace. Did it on purpose, my ADHD made me. As El Autismo, myself, which is completely true, as an Asperger's man, that also makes it very satisfying for me. There you go. There's a fun fact you all never knew about me, but live reveal. Hold up Lion might not be last. It's Rose Q Pro's going to be last. As Yuri goes even faster. 76 thousandths of a second, and that's on old softs as well. Mighty impressive time. Chowdenby has invalidated their lap time, but can just save up the battery and then go again. That is not quite what they are doing. They were burning the battery. But it might well be, and it will be, a retreat to the pit lane. All our drivers have set lap times. Meme Ruler in the Williams, my goat. P10. That's what we love to see. Tanadran on a keyboard, by the way. 17.568. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Into the pits goes the keyboard warrior, and I'll tell you what, it is fighting the good fight in the Ferrari camp. 5th and 7th place, and with the most satisfying time I've ever seen in my life. Into the pits, not many people setting lap times, if they are indeed setting lap times. Meme Ruler is not going to be one of them. They have been just cruising in and cooling down. Kylo Ren is in fact pushing balls to the wall. 3 tenths up as they head towards the second sector split, or the end of the second sector split. And Alpine just with the yellow flag, that is AOR Benjamin, but they are going to carry on their merry way. Kylo Ren losing a little bit of time in the second sector, might pick up just a little bit of slipstream from the Alpine, getting very, very close to shearing off many, many tyres, but not to be. Carrying on is the Aston Martin, the lean green machine. It's crazy. Casper says the thing we're all wondering. I've always wondered how he does it on a keyboard. So do I. To be that quick on a keyboard is not easy at all. But it's exactly what they do. Kylo Ren into the 18 zeros. A whisker away for a 1 minute 17. Fortis looks to improve it. Don't do it! Look how satisfying the time is. I'm not praying for your downfall, but I almost hope you invalidate because I don't want that time to disappear. I have a feeling it will, though. Katie is screaming into the void. It's a no, but that might be a yes. Massively wide from the Ferrari driver. That might curtail any improvements. Never mind. That's bad. That is not ideal. Only in Ferrari they set a 17 flat. Well, you know what? For Ferrari last season, sometimes they finished P17 and felt flat, but that was just a lot of the time, to be honest. Safso going around the last couple of corners, meanwhile, very perilously close to invalidating the track limits, but does not do so. Exploring the limits as George Russell, Mr. Kev, goes up into P6 in that McLaren car. Equally satisfying as it's exactly 3 tenths between that McLaren and Fortis. That right there has doubled the satisfaction. Safso splits the pair of them, though. A 2.37 in the 17's camp, and that's P6 for the American dream. Where does Fortis end up? The answer is pit row. That is satisfaction being kept. Get in there, Lewis. Katie saying exactly what I'm saying. We love the nice times. Bilbo Swagger Muffins up to P7 in the meantime. Where does AOR Benjamin potentially end up? The answer is they've had a little bit of a cool down lap, and they are going again. Beaksy, 8 tenths up on their time. They've leapt up to P9. Excellent effort from them. Chowdenby looking to improve their time. And whereas Monza was a much easier set of affairs in terms of qualifying, on the technical twists and turns of Melbourne, that might just be a little bit trickier to muster up. Last sector going, never mind. P2 for Chaldenby. Mighty impressive as Tanadran in the background starts and goes on to set their second flying lap of the entire session. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Yuri and Duty are out on flying laps. Yuri passes the first. My God! 2.5 tenths up almost. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Duty has invalidated. They're not going to improve, but Yuri is looking to send a statement to the rest of the field, and an ominous one at that. I'm saving a bit more battery, taking it a bit easier through that fateful turn number 6. To the last sector. That is where the time can be gained. Braking after the 100 board, and look at how the car just darts into the apex. Complete confidence in themselves, in the machinery, all linked up in sumptuous synergy. Yuri Arens, the Flying Dutchman, DRS wide open. Will it be an improvement? You bet it will be an improvement. Over 3 tenths to the good. A 16.101. And if you were looking for information, well, it's 4 tenths up on the rest of the field. A sledgehammer lap from Yuri in the V-Carb. Their teammate going out for another run on the older tyres, and in fact looked rather gingerly taken, and it's rather, I don't know, how do you even describe something rather ginger? The answer is probably like that. I don't think Duty is absolutely pushing to the limit. In fact, scratch that, they definitely aren't going to be pushing to the limit because they've gone over the limit. That's an invalidation, and that is the end of that. Bilbo Swagger Muffins, according to this, 4 tenths up, but it is an invalidation. Pit lane for them. Beaksy going round the final corner, looking for ever incremental improvements. Angry Ginge. Right! That's it. 20.9. I have had enough. Enough. Speaking of commentating Northern, that is a Ferrari across the line. That weren't Tanadran. It turns out it were not for... Oh, never mind. There's a Ferrari peeling out of the pit lane. That is absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, that is a Red Bull car. That is Energy Drink Sensation. That looks to be Highwire peeling into pit lane. And that is pit lane. There you go. That's my... Right, I won't do it then. I'm going to offend people, Katie. Sorry. Right, Mackie's out on the track. 40 flying lap. They're 2.1 seconds up through the first sector. Stop trying the Yorkshire accent. I'll have you know, since that car on road, that Williams on road, Flying Blue Blur, my favourite video game character, that purple sector 2, my favourite game character, Snoik Hedgehog, the Blue Blur. Sound like real honey. Right, guys. Okay, that's enough. Never do that again. It's the oil of shame for me in the commentary box. However, Mackie is smooth as you like on this particular lap. Darting dangerously close to the greenery on the outside. But what it will be is a charge up the field for the Williams driver. Where's it going to be? P6 on the road. A 17.069. Very nice indeed. And that right, well, they're cutting all the corners to try and get back to the pit lane as quickly as possible. But I think that is quali done. But even so, 5 seconds of an improvement. That will do nicely. Crazy Casper saying, never heard a Ginge and Will any accent in one sentence before. Oh, Infinity, you're from Yorkshire as well? Okay, fair enough. Alright. My mum's from Yorkshire. Not that I can do the accent properly, despite clearly having roots from the north, but there you go. It's what it is. Stop trying the Yorkshire accent. Well, prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for that final flurry of laps in qualifying. The final flurry of laps for Season 3. The final ever qualifying laps for drivers in Season 3. In the realistic machinery, in the cards that they have been dealt, in the cars that they have been bestowed, the machinery that they must make their own. And Safso is going to pick up DRS. Is that meme ruler potentially providing some sumptuous suckage? You bet it is. They peel to the inside. Safso a 10th of a second up. Casper saying that the Williams had a rally through turn 1 there, indeed. And the Cardinhong saying realistic Alpine, 15th and 16th. And making everybody, well, 16th and 17th now. Because Kylo Ren's gone faster. So it's even worse news for the Enstone outfit. Nah, Infinity, listen, we don't need to worry about that. All you need to know is that the slipstream was sensational. Safso across the line. A 16.7, that's P4 on the road. Much more like it from our resident PS1 Hagrid. And still, there are a myriad of drivers yet to set a final flying lap. Tanadran was one of them. Up to P8 they go. 17.149. And that is a commendable effort. Still got 1 minute, actually, to go round and set a final flying lap. Mighty decent from Tanadran. Still time to improve. Which it is possible to do so. We've seen plenty of drivers make improvements despite the aging compound of tyres that they have had. Spaceboy on a final flying lap. In fact, everybody now crossing the line for that final flurry. A purple Sector 1 for the Mercedes Maestro. Has their teammate in close company. That's Crazy Casper providing a distant tow from up ahead. Kev is just starting a flying lap. Bilbo Swaggermuffins will round the final 2 corners. Should make it and will make it with 16 seconds to go. So should Yuri. For Safso, that will be qualifying session done and dusted. What can everybody else do, though? The meme ruler has invalidated their lap. That is really sad. The Alpine, though, has not. Simplium William is his full name goes. But DRS all the way to the line for the Alpine. A 17.3. Not bad going at all. Now we wait for the Mercedes cars. Taylor O'Brien, Crazy Casper, a 16.9. Spaceboy moves up to P3 on the road. Second row for the Mercedes Maestro. Highwire moving up to P8 with their lap time. Mackie will finish this session no higher than P9 on the road. The other Alpina Benji moves up to P15, a 17.3 for them. Kev finishes in P11. We wait now for one of the V-Cubs, that is Duty, who has invalidated their time. Ferrari behind, though, has not. Tanadran with a slipstream all the way to the line. Duty will finish P4. Tanadran breaks into the 16s on keyboard. Immediately usurped by Fortis, who moves up to P3. Chaldenby had to get the lap time in. Up to P2 they go. Bilbo Swaggermuffins will not improve. Can Yuri improve, ladies and gentlemen? To go into the 50s, is it possible? No, not quite, but nonetheless, it is pole position for the RB driver. A place that they've become acquainted to many more times than one, and they've done it at the season finale. 3.5 attempts to Chaldenby, and then Fortis in P3, with Spaceboy joining them on the second row. Duty in P5 with Safso in 6th place. Taylor O'Brien, Crazy Casper in 7th, with Tanadran, Highwire, and Mackie, go Williams, in the top 10. McLaren in 11th and 12th, led by Kev in that particular department. Bilbo Swaggermuffins in P12 with Simply Will, Beaksy Hun, Benji, Meme Ruler, Kylo Ren, Infinity, Line 09 and Rose Q Pro. Rounding out our grid lineup. Well, that is quite something. And just quickly, I'm going to have some water. He was 3 attempts up and went wide? Oh, no. Absolutely rotten luck. As Cardin Hong says, Simply and William is simply not simply allowed to be at Alpine. One does not simply make so many simply puns. But I like it. What a line from that Ferrari. That's how you should get pole. Just ignore track limits. Ignore them. They are but advisory. You are indeed correct. As Taylor O'Brien says, had a students v teachers football game and the ref was very biased for the teachers, which is rigged. I would tend to agree. Perhaps because the teachers are a crippling skill issue as well. How about that? I am back in the little commentary pen. Of course, we have a few minutes before we get going. If anybody readies up early, their shins may be at risk. Just saying. Gave students an offside goal. Are you sure you didn't mean the teachers? If they gave the students an offside goal, then that works. Because surely that's not a bad thing, right? Literally. Oh. There you go. Right, I see. And then what? Let me guess. They scored one that was offside. Personally, if I were you, I would not have that. I would not have that if I were you. Our school wouldn't do that. We would crunch the teachers. Ended up being 5-3 to the students. Well, you still won, and I commend you for that. I really do. Back to here, though, I'm going to reveal some potential strategies. Now, Duty, interestingly, has gone for the softs, probably begging and praying for an early safety car. But otherwise, it is going to be mediums and hards up and down the board. The main focus of today is going for that one-stop strategy. That is what we are, in theory, aiming to see. But you never know. We shall soon find out. Wanted to keep my 17 flat, but couldn't let Spaceboy. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. I respect that, honestly. I do very much respect that. Looking for any messages I've missed. I have not indeed. As Crazy Casper says, then they give you detention for slide tackling them. Yeah, pretty much. Although, to be fair, can't give detention if you can't walk anymore. If you catch my drift. It's a bit violent, but if you catch my drift, you will understand the vision. Australia, wonderful track, honestly, for league racing. I absolutely adore it. The last 2 times I've raced there have been pretty successful for me, which is good. The main thing is those 4 DRS zones, though. That is the tricky bugbear. And the main thing as well is weathering the storm, particularly if you have the harder compound of tyres. You can use that DRS to your advantage. Once those softer compounds fall off, though, they really fall off. And I mean really fall off. There's not much in it before they reach that first cliff, and then they become practically useless. Which is how I managed to prize away a very, very decent result at Australia one time, because I went mediums, stayed on the old mediums, while someone went on old softs, weathered the storm. By 2 laps to the end of the race, their softs were toast. So there you go. Bit of advice from me. 10 people in IE are in the Leeds... Oh, God! They're in the Leeds United Academy. Bloody hell. Fair play. And they know how to play the ref's rulebook. Because they can just slide tackle left, right, and centre. Ryan Shawcross with the 2-footer to snap somebody's limbs. That is a very, very nostalgic reference from me. But there you go. Predictions, ladies and gentlemen. The big question. Who on earth do we think is going to win this race? That will have to wait. Because we have 5 red lights. A season finale awaits in Formula 1. Realistic cars, it's lights out and away we go. Yuri with a decent start, but it's Sheldonby who's absolutely flying. Lion09 leads the race. Stop the count. Pushed onto the grass. Is Yuri, whether that was avoiding action or not, but that is the end of that. Safso is going to move up as well. In the Haas car, has the outside line, cuts across the V-car. It's cutthroat, it's clinical, it's up to P4. Lion09 leads with Meme Ruler in P2. Sheldonby in 3rd with Safso in 4th. Yuri down to 5th with Spaceboy Duty Highwire 40th with an absolutely terrible start. Now the leaderboard resets and the oil of shame returns, ladies and gentlemen. Sheldonby leads, Safso P2, Yuri in P3, nothing to do with tyres, they're all on the medium tyres. Spaceboy up to P4, ahead of Duty in P5, and it's all about keeping in that DRS train now. Exactly what you need to do. Mackie, look for the move. On Kevin the McLaren, there's immediately this synchronised sandbox swimmage for Lion09 and Simply Will, but through Lion09 goes. Down the inside, 3 wide behind. Oh my God, that's going to end in tears. Meme Ruler, front wing damage for one of the cars. I have no idea who it was. It wasn't Benji, I'll tell you that much, and it certainly wasn't Rose Q Pro, who's lagging about like a hamster. Lion09 is absolutely fine though, and moves up into P12. Well, it's a suboptimal exit that invites Bilbo Swaggermuffins up into P13, and there's the answer to the question. They have an end plate missing on the right-hand side. Sheldonby leads, Safso P2, Yuri in 3rd, and they're already trying to break away from that Mercedes car of Spaceboy. 8-car DRS train at the moment. Spaceboy has to get turn number 6 right. Otherwise, DRS is no more. That was a lot of grass. And Rose Q Pro has left the session again. That is not ideal. Meme Ruler moves up through. Past Bilbo Swagger Muffins. Go Williams. Up to P13. There you go. First lot of DRS. Championship leader. Holding their own at the moment. Safso in P2. And if they were feeling really funny. And oh God! Massive moment! Massive, massive mistake from Kev. The virtual safety car gets called out. No front wing at all on the McLaren. And the script is now settled. Arthur Way says, I might be signing up for reserve. Yes! I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it, Arthur. By the way, hello. Great to have you on board. Virtual safety car is out. Does anybody go for a really bold strategy? The answer is absolutely not. They all want to remain in that DRS. No, they don't. No, they don't. Just trust at least one driver to throw a bit of a curveball. Fortis with front wing damage. No better time to get that front wing off and slap on a set of hard compound tyres. Very nice indeed. It's a 10-second penalty for Bilbo Swagger Muffins for speeding in the mid lane. It goes from bad to worse for the second McLaren. Full front wing change needed though for President George Russell, the Romanian George Russell as we will call it. Not a massive amount of time lost though. We are back to green flag racing here at the Circuit Albert Park in Melbourne. Chowdenby leads, but DRS will propel Safso on closer and closer to the diffuser of his closest challenger. Again, the top three looking to break away. I believe Spaceboy did get DRS, and proofs of the pudding, they absolutely did. Through the chicane, they go. The Fierce Three. The three that have been head and shoulders above the rest, even in the realistic machinery. And now, poetically, 1, 2, and 3 on the track. Line astern, looking for some ludicrous lunges, and more importantly, some rapturous racecraft all the way through these next 25 tours of the Australian Grand Prix circuit. On to lap number 4 we go then. Gap stabilising left, right and centre. There's 2 DRS trains though, with a couple of other interesting battles coming up. Tanadran and Mackie. Williams on the move potentially. Feints to the inside, shows the sign of intent. I don't think Mackie has even been outside of the Williams this season, so they have got great affinity. Already penalties raining in. It's not just the 10 seconds for Swagger Muffins, it is also a 3-second time penalty for Meme Ruler. That is 3 warnings in the space of 3 laps, and that means they're going to have at least 27 seconds worth of penalties by the end of this race. Through turn 6 we go. It's an absolutely academic move. This is exactly what the racing will be looking like. Visualised in front of your very eyes. Battery switched off. Mackie can save the battery past Tanadran. Not only that, but get another dose of DRS to help try and propel themselves to crazy Casper ahead. That is the aim of the game. Duty down the inside of Spaceboy. V-Carb Maestro on the move. On those hard compound tyres. Going for the offset and immediately finding proper purchase after just 4 laps of racing here. Simply Will also with a 3-second time penalty. That is also 3 warnings in the space of 4 laps. As the fastest laps come raining in. Once from Chowderby, once from Safso, once from Yuri. Never mind, make that crazy Casper, and then Mackie who gets the fastest lap of the race. Switches hands all the time. Not a bad thing Spaceboy has been displaced by Duty. Let me make that quite clear. Not a bad thing at all. Because if Duty's pace is anything to go by, it will help to reel in this train to the back of 1, 2 and 3. But Spaceboy already beginning to struggle to even hold on to DRS of Duty up ahead. Mackie now with a 3-second time penalty. That makes it now, that's the penalty situation. 3 drivers with 3-second time penalties after only 5 laps of racing. Safso with the double DRS. Not looking to make the moves happen. They just don't want to battle and bring Duty into the equation. Duty, though, is putting himself into that equation anyway. Meme Ruler versus the 9th Lion of Formula 1. Through goes the Meme Ruler, and that is a measured move from the Williams driver. As Lion 09 goes wide, Lion 09 could be having a massive moment, and so they do. Roaring on into the wall, facing the wrong way. A flick spin, nobody fully there yet. Rose Q Pro is going to arrive on the scene of the accident, but it's just a yellow flag. No need to bring out a safety car. Cardin Hong says, you know what happens next. Bring it out. The oil of shame, ladies and gentlemen. It has returned. Infinity also made a stop under that brief virtual safety car that we had. Of course, no front wing change needed, I don't believe, unless that is completely incorrect. Fortis, though, has some great pace. DRS wide. Oh, Rose Q Pro showed the nose to the inside. Fortis goes on through, completely overcooks it onto the grass, and will that be an opportunity for Rose Q Pro to size up a maneuver? That dose of DRS belongs to the Ferrari, though, and that will be P12 sealed in the Scuderia camp. Ride on board with Saf so you can hear him just taking it easy, playing it tentative. That's all they need to do. Focus on staying in that DRS, but look who is almost on the prow as well. On the hards, Duty is almost there already. After only 7 laps of touring Albert Park. Will simply gets another penalty meanwhile. 6 seconds worth of penalties now. And that brings the cumulative total up to 22 seconds. Yellow flag for a moment. And was that? That is Simply Will. Simply Will with front wing damage. Deary, deary me. Well, if the penalty wasn't enough of a rain cloud, the storm has truly not settled. Up, down to P18 they go. That's a lack of braking through the pre-penultimate corner. Now it's the penultimate corner. A burning up of the rear tyres. And I have a feeling Simply Will is simply going to commit an absolutely disastrous corner. In a matter of moments' time, it's now a 4-car train for DRS at the front of the field. And Will goes into the wall. That's out of the race. And that will be a safety car, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, I imagine that will be looked at, because I don't think deliberate safety cars are allowed. Flabben! Hello! Who says, Glorp? Glorp to you indeed. Massive thank you for the tier 1. For the 6 months, you are an absolute legend. GG's to Simply and William. And into the pit lane goes almost absolutely everyone. In fact, absolutely everyone does peel into the pit lane. Screw it. Duty just backing off as, oh dear. Oh no. I am seeing bad things, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, never mind. Well, Charnaby's on the hard compound tyres. He's out of the pit lane. So Saf, so's Yuri, and so will Duty be on whatever set of tyres. In fact, another set of hard compound tyres. Because now they can go for a charge on the mediums towards the end of the race. There might well be another safety car, though. Let's be quite clear. Cardinhong says with a nice bug, you know what? It would not be an F1 25 scenario without a brutal bug gracing our very eyes. But so it has. That is the only way, ladies and gentlemen. We are processing under safety car here on lap number 8. Simply Will. I can reveal it was brake failure. They slowed down to try and mitigate the overall risk. As we have cheers from Flabben in the Beaksy camp. Go Beaksy, go! They are down in P19. They have throttled and they have bottled. And they are back into the pit lane once again. Because they can have the freshest tyres of anybody. And so they shall. Hard compound tyres for the Red Bull driver. But it was brake failure. Sapso just getting out of the slipstream. Showing a statement of intent. Doesn't plan on waiting on behind. Not the whole race. Chowdenby holding the lead. My team somehow made me put mediums on when I selected hards. Well, that right there. Well, just discount Mercedes, really, onto the yellow stripe tyres. goes Crazy Casper. Meanwhile, Infinity says, got pinballed into Beaksy on lap 1 and lost my whole front wing. Well, I'm very sorry I missed that. You're probably not sorry, though, because now P17 is yours, and I never saw the fact that your front wing was completely sliced off. So that's great news for you. Taking it nice and slow, just to keep the tyre wear as minimal as possible, is the Kick Sauber driver. Pretty much everybody on the hard compound tyres, barring a couple of people. Meme Ruler and Crazy Casper, the only ones to have not peeled into the box for hard compound tyres. They're going for mediums and then going, I presume, to hards for the end of this race. Have to be the only inference I make. Everybody else catching up for the queue. I'm again going to have a quick water break, but this is your running order. Champion-elect Chaldenby leads this race with Safso and Yuri very much in hot pursuit. Duty not far out of the equation either, though. Spaceboy in P5, Highwire in 6th with Maki Tanadrand, Taylor O'Brien, known as Crazy Casper, and Fortis rounding out the top 10. Kev in P11 in the McLaren, with Benji in 12th, Meme Ruler in 13th, Kylo Ren, Bilbo Swaggermuffins, Rose Q Pro, Infinity, Lion 09, and finally Beaksy rounds out our running order. Still under safety car for at least one more lap, just while Beaksy makes their way to the back of the queue. Rose Q Pro, in very sad news, is out of the Australian Grand Prix. I'm so sorry that the finale did not go the way you planned it, but regardless, thank you very much for being a wonderful part of TTYB season number 3. So much history made in many ways in season number 3. Chaldenby could be on the cards for a 6th win of the season. 6 wins, by the way, is ridiculous. Absolutely unparalleled success. Which means, if he does actually complete it, I will have a 6th of the total wins that the champion has this season. Take that. Cardin Hong says Pimply Pill, which is very interesting. As I believe that is simply Will. Welcome, Mr. iRoblox Racing. Hope you're doing well. What, my controller ran out of battery, couldn't break T1. Oh, I see. No. Do you mean that, or did that actually happen? But hello, good to see you. We have a new follower, and ladies and gentlemen, we have 70 followers on the TTYB show. Thank you so much to Simply Will. The safety car is in this lap. We've crossed 70 followers, and now we're back on the league racing grind, and Chaldenby is not waiting around for Bernd Mylander. He's getting this show on the road. We are back racing here for the Australian Grand Prix. The Kick Sauber drops anchor and runs away, but Safso is breathing down their neck. Yuri in P3, Duty in 4th, B-Carb 3 and 4. Spaceboy in 5th with Highwire in 6th. Crazy Casper with a 3-second time penalty. Nothing to be done just yet. Duty just waiting in the wings. Nobody really making the manoeuvres, just all remaining line astern. If anything, Highwire really piling on the pressure. on the Mercedes driver. Spaceboy not firing up at all on the restart. Misfiring, in fact, is the Mercedes. 3-second time penalty for Spaceboy. That just compounds the conundrums that they are facing. Mackie all over Highwire, though, and look at this. Williams to the inside. Go Williams! Surging on through is Mackie into P6 on the road and darting the car in through the chicane. What a chicane, by the way. That is absolutely outrageous. Spaceboy saving the battery. Mackie deploying the electrical energy, going to steal the thunder of the rest of the field, but with all the lightning deployed, nothing that they could do on that occasion. And now it is a battery-saving game. Top 4 escaping away. The Williams just absolutely flying again, burning the battery. The surplus of straight line speed belongs to the Blue Blur. Down the inside goes Mackie for the top 5 places. What a drive the Williams is having so far. Can we spit? Oh my God, Highwire! That's an outrageous dive! That came out of absolutely nowhere. I was completely taken aback. Highwire goes through on Spaceboy, barges into the side pod of Mackie, but through they go. Spaceboy will feel rather hard done by. But regardless, Ferrari's now breathing down the neck of the Mercedes driver. Top 4 absolutely escaping. Simply Will going. He's really looking for that position, is Highwire. Indeed they are. Spaceboy taking exception to that one. Highwire has to defend through the chicane, but now it's Spaceboy's turn to deal the pain and shame. Highwire has a desire for higher points. Holds the outside line. Mackie says, I show you the cold shoulder. The curb, sunshine. I am not done yet. Look at this battling, by the way. Crazy Casper on those medium compound tyres. Round the outside of Tanidran goes Crazy Casper. It's going to remain side by side. And a drag race towards turn number 1, which the Ferrari promptly wins. Fastest lap of the race belongs to... That's not the right detail. It belongs to Duty, in fact, a 119.9. Very impressive stuff indeed. Ferrari again, now line astern. Crazy Casper does get it done on the road. Tanidran breaks late as you dare. Runs rings round his teammate into P9. And that right there, keyboard warrior by nature. But that was absolutely sumptuous. How interesting did this get then? What a battle we have. Meme Ruler getting involved as well. Half a tenth off. Shows it to the outside of the resident Romanian George Russell. Meme Ruler still remains side by side. Will they get through that? Well, it's not without a 3-second time penalty, but it is through to P11 for the Meme Ruler. Proceed with caution, and that was a very safe approach. In fact, even safer because they conceded a penalty whilst making their way through. Beaksy on the move as well, down the inside of Lion 09, and if he needed the oil spillage, well, slipping and sliding down the order is the Aston Martin. Beaksy making their way on through to P15. Oh, Infinity! No, it's not, it's Tanidran! My apologies! Tanidran on the infield. Oh, massive moment! Out of the race goes Tanidran! The rejoin is absolutely curtailed. Well, won the race of the Ferrari. The Aston Martin of Kylo Ren not out of this race, I think. Yes, they are able to carry on. An absolutely outrageous rejoin has blazed the Ferrari into the McLaren of Bilbo Swaggermuffins. Nowhere for them to go. But a second safety car of this race, and in dramatic circumstances. Tanidran leaves the session. I don't blame them. Meanwhile, Crazy Casper says Keyboard Warrior is not Keyboard Bottler. Well, it's throttle to your bottle, and they are out of the race. I'm just saying, we ain't called that for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. As Infinity says, I needed that. In fact, Crazy Casper very much needed that as well. on the mediums, now that they can actually deploy a set of hard compound tyres, that is ideal. No real surprise. Crazy Casper into the pit lane. Mackie wants the track position, though. Through... Oh, Chaldenby. Whoa, Chaldenby stays out. Chaldenby stays out. Now, that is a very interesting move indeed. Yes, they'll preserve some of the tyre life. But look at the tyres everybody else is going on to. Hards for Safso. Hards for Yuri. Duty now onto the medium compound tyres. In fact, a few people staying out, opting for that track position. It is a bold move. As the field will bunch up, we'll see if it pays off. Mackie the GOAT. Quite right, Cardin Hong. Quite right indeed. Lap 15 of TTYB, the season finale of season number 3. Champion-elect Chaldenby leads, Mackie in second, Highwire in third, Spaceboy in fourth, Infinity up to fifth. Infinity up 13 places from where they started, but crucially, those 5 have not pit under the safety car. Safso, Yuri, they absolutely have. Beaksy's up to P8, excuse me. Flabben, it's a day to rejoice. Duty in P9 with Crazy Casper rounding out the top 10. Meme Ruler Kev, Fortis, AOR Benjamin, Lion09, Bilbo Swaggermuffins, and then finally Kylo Ren rounds out our grid lineups. Infinity says the reason they didn't pit is because they did not have the tyres. Makes perfect sense, in which case, you do you, Sunshine. That's the way we get to higher results. P15 and 17 for Aston Martin. Well, it's not totally inaccurate testing. Because that is about where they have been. Which is not really ideal for them, I will be honest, but that's the way the cookie is crumbling. If you thought Williams was in a bad place, well, at least we did laps. Aston Martin. Oh, they're a completely different level of stuff. Fortis back into the pit lane. There you go. They're on 2 hard compound tyres, and front wing is still damaged. Which I have a feeling they were just coming in to change that, but that has not quite happened. I just want to be ahead of Kev so I don't get killed. Well, Crazy Casper, you have completed your mission. 2 places ahead of the McLaren Maestro. I was going to pose the question of what do you do if you're the race leaders and a safety car comes out? Do you pit? You should have gone for the harder allocation. In theory, it is the fastest way around. But do you pit? I imagine that's why Chaldenby hasn't pit. Because their tyres are, again, a set of mediums. That's ultimately, I think, what curtailed their charge at Monza. Because while I think my overall race pace ultimately had me in the prime seat, but also the fact that Chaldenby had medium compound tyres, I stayed out for longer because I thought they were going to pit, and I thought they were going to cover off Yuri. They didn't. And it's because they didn't have a second set of hard compound tyres that their hand was forced. They had no choice but to stay out for longer. Enough about times gone previous. This is the present. What a gift of a race we have. And the safety car is in at the end of this lap. Chaldenby can dictate the pace of the field. Right on board with Mackie. It would just be hot on the heels of the King Sauber. This is where Chris Chaldenby pulled the trigger last time, and it looks like they're going to try and do the same again. Yes, they do. Twice is nice. Very nice, in fact. And not breathing down the net is Mackie. We are back racing here at the Albert Park track for one final time, hopefully without safety cars permitting. Safso's immediately down the inside of Infinity on those newer tyres. He's looking to make manoeuvres left, right and centre. Yuri looking to the outside. It could be 3 wide into turn number 3. That would be devastating. Safso through into P5. Yuri with a switchback going for P6 on the road. Duty goes through on Beatsy. Kylo Ren and Fortis interlocked in a battle of their own. Safso through into P5. That's 1 car down and 4 to go. The wear-up shouldn't be too bad on the hards. I completely agree. It shouldn't be too bad, but even 7 laps hards, it's still quite a gulf that the others have to deal with. Yuri to the inside of Infinity. Safso to the outside of Spaceboy. Upper place in respect, the pair of them. Look at the slingshot out of the final chicane for Yuri. He was going to gazump the Mercedes driver. Up into P5, there you go. Chowdenby still leads, looking to try and break a second ahead of Mackie and Highwire. They'll be hoping to just keep them in DRS maybe, or be hoping that they hold up Safso and Yuri enough. With the way those new hards have fired up, though, it's going to be a tall order. A very tall order, in fact. Lap number 17. DRS, of course, re-enabled after this safety car. And it's Duty to the inside of Infinity. Massive squeeze given by the Kick Sauber driver. It is all within his right. It is all fair. And Duty now has a chance into turn number 3. Has the exit. Has the slingshot to the outside. Has the braking bravery on those mediums. But no. Not nearly enough alongside, as much as I thought they would have been. Not to be. It's a brief yellow flag. Fortis plummeting away from the field. 5 seconds now, the gap. Devastation for the Ferrari driver. Elation for the Haas driver. Safso with the DRS. Makes his way easily on through to P3. And in fact, easily onto P2. Round the outside of Mackie. That's a show-stopping manoeuvre. Great space left between the two of them. That has fired me up. That is a wonderful manoeuvre. Yuri takes the advantage as well. Due to the compromised momentum, Mackie not letting this one go without a fight though. Still side by side, has to concede at the right-hander. Safso and Yuri, P2 and 3 now in this race. That was of all the sweet treats in this race, that was a marvellous creation from Safso though. Didn't have to get 2 for 1, but did get 2 for the price of 1. Immaculate moves being made. At least Mackie was in a podium place for 2 laps, unlike Ken. Now. Let's not be too hard. Beaksy gets a 3-second time penalty. To the credit of the Romanian George Russell, they don't have a time penalty. I mean, that is fair play, you've got to say. Meanwhile, oh God, it's worse than that. Meme Ruler's off, but Beaksy's even more off. Massive trip through the sandbox. Has to go off the escape road. Kylo Ren blazes through on the inside for P13. And Lion09 is through into P11. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Safso and Yuri catching quite quickly to Chowdenby, in fact. That's just 7 laps hards. That's all the difference it is. But that is 10th after 10th being chomped and chomped and chomped. Every single apex that is cut and clipped by these two. Chowdenby with a tall order. But with track position on their side, with the overall statistics on their side, with the championship very much on their side, no matter where they finish now. The Romanian George Russell is up to P9 meanwhile. While there might be some bashing and crashing going on in the chat, Romanian George Russell's doing a great job. Meme Rulers, Beaksy, oh, it's from the session! Oh! Exit of the final corner! There they are! Contact with the outside, maybe even the inside wall. My goodness me! Severe collision between the Alpine and the Red Bull. We have another safety car! And Delta is not playing ball. Massive slam on the anchors. But it's not like Chowdenby can pit. They have to stay out. Because look at all the time they'll lose. They'll be down, well, pretty much to the back of the pecking order. They have to stay out and weather this storm in order to have any chance of winning this race. Infinity says, come on, let's go. Or maybe it's a, come on, why another safety car? It wouldn't be throttle to your bottle without it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Cars line astern as Bernd Mailander waits extremely patiently at the exit of turn number 2. But this is the situation. Chowdenby leads on older tyres compared to Safso and Yuri, who are in hot pursuit and will continue to be in hot pursuit in this race. Mackie in 4th, Highwire in 5th, Duty in 6th on newer tyres with Spaceboy Infinity, Romanian George Russell and Taylor O'Brien, Crazy Casper, rounding out the top 10. Again, I will take a quick little drinks break after we see what the pit lane stipulations are. I believe Mackie is peeling into the pit lane. Yes, going for a late charge onto the mediums. Very interesting indeed. everybody else not peeling into pit row. Romanian George Russell will peel into pit row. But that's about it. So will Infinity. In fact, so will a few people, to be honest with you. Basically, half the grid going in. New medium tyres for Infinity. Of course, that's nothing to lose, so they're well within their right to do so. Down to P11 they go. And meanwhile, that means Bilbo Swaggermuffins, my goat, is up to P7. What a legend. That's how we like it. And now I know the pit lane stipulations. The grid will bunch up. Like I say, Chaldenby leads. But Safso is surging on forwards. And on those newer tyres, it is a tough, tough scenario to make the sensational 6 happen tonight. Hello everyone, I'm back. I do apologise. That was a longer break than I thought it was going to be. I just felt really weird. I don't really know why. But anyway, we're back in the hot seat, back in the commentary booth, and we're going to be going racing, hopefully very, very soon. It won't be at the moment because Benji is still catching up to the back of the pack. That means less time for the likes of Safso and Yuri to make the moves. Equally, less time for Chaldenby to defend. But it also means they've all preserved their tyre wear. The deficits, however big or small they might have been, are still very much preserved. What I will be interested to see is how the likes of Mackie and Co do, where they end up in this equation. Because they're on the newer tyres. They're going for a late race charge. Sneck is here. Hello, Sneck. Hope you're doing well, mate. Says every time I check this stream, there's a safety car. You're not wrong. I will be honest. You are not wrong at all. But that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that we are in this situation, the fact that we only have a handful of laps to decide this Australian Grand Prix. This is what we live for. Benji moses his way to the back of the pack. And so, everybody is congregated together. And at the end of this lap, Bernd Mailander will peel into the pit lane, because I'll make him. And then once he does, we will be back racing. Oh, yes, we will. Now, who do we think will win this out? Will it be Chaldenby to make it 6 wins? A 50% win rate in TTYB Season 3. Will it be Safso to have one last win, to have a big hurrah, to have another step of searing success on the board? Will it be Yuri to win another race? I think they'll have won their 3rd race if they do get up right to the front of the pecking order. All questions that will soon be answered. All that you need to be is ready for the ride. Cardinhong says Safso might win. Well, it all comes down to this. The final restart, ladies and gentlemen. We've lost 4. We are down to 16. But the figures at the forefront of the race remain very much the same. Chowlenby, Safso, Yuri. Which one of this tremendous trio will win out today? Chowlenby pulls the trigger at exactly the same point. Safso sliding out the final corner. But we are back racing one last time in season number 3. Chowlenby from Safso, who's struggling to get temperature into his tyres. Yuri in P3, Highwire, then Duty. Taylor O'Brien, Kyler Ren, then Mackie in P8. But how much of a surplus of grip do they have? Massive dive down the inside. Slight contact on the tyres. Bit of argy-bargy, but Mackie's through to P7. That's 1 place gained already. Safso with a slip and slide through Sector 1. Yuri's all over the back of him. And with battery to burn, Yuri's going to go through. Round the outside goes the V-Carb driver. The Red Bull of Highwire's getting interested as well. Duty getting interested as well. Safso's had an absolutely terrible restart. For reasons I can't quite comprehend, but he's down to P5 from P2 on the road. It's given so much breathing space, and we know now why. Safso with the disconnect. He's now rejoined the session. But that is terrible, terrible news. Being displaced by so many. Brief contact, I think, with Mackie, who dives down the inside to take P6 on the road. And oh no. Oh, for God's sake. TLDR, EA Sports. Chowlenby leads from Yuri then. 2-horse race at the front. Don't discount out Duty or Highwire and anyone for that matter, as Bilbo Swaggermuffins gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But regardless, is still in this race. And we love that. Cardinhong says jinxing powers are too powerful. They are indeed. But now it's a question between these two. Who's going to win it out? We'll have to say, Yuri, I think, was at the front of my estimation. Safso's retired from the race. I don't blame him for 1 second. Absolute horror show. In the disconnect department, in the EA Sports department, Benji gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But now to decide the victor of this race. Duty moved through. You saw it in the background. DRS on the Red Bull. They are through to P3. Excellent stuff. The Fury from Fryenza raining through. Mackie, don't count out Mackie in this either. They've got so much pace on their medium tyres. Look at the surplus of grip they have. It's going to be a move, surely. Down the inside. Massive pinch from Highwire. Says absolutely not. But this is where it all falls. DRS wide open. A chance to defend the inside. A shimmy, a shake, whatever in between from Mackie. That's just a sign of things to come, you feel. DRS still for the pair of them. Riding on board with the Williams driver, you have to feel it could be a dive down the inside, but it's not going to be. Said dive down the inside. Is almost losing all composure is Highwire. Mackie just has to wait for this next DRS zone. Crazy Casper in Infinity, waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces. Again, double dose of DRS. We've been here before. Chowlenby just gets the optimal exit out of turn number 6. Exactly what they need to do. Yuri probably just biding his time. Half battery for the pair of them, so even Stevens in terms of the battery pack, and Duty just saving that battery. It's hardly got any to play with. Never mind. Not saving at all. Just fighting to stay in the equation. Kyler Ren round the outside of the Romanian George Russell at the chicane. That's a delightful move. There's crazy Casper. Moves round the outside with a mental manoeuvre. Still, they remain side by side. This is a cracking little battle, you know, for P5. Late on the brakes from Highwire. That's a delightful corner from the Red Bull driver. Keeps it on the track as well. That is brilliant stuff. Mackie, of course, no surprise, made it through into P4 as Yuri looks to try and nibble at the diffuser of Chaldenby up ahead. Yes, Mackie indeed, but while he has P4 on the road, Infinity with P7 does not have penalties. Plenty of positions to inherit for the green machine. Just under 3 tours to go then. And what do you do if you're Yuri? Do you think with those newer tyres that you have the pace to do something? That you can make the move? Well, he's close as he's ever been. 0.3 of a second for the V-Carb driver. Burning, burning, and burning some more. But now quickly switches to that saving mentality. Once again, remains perilously close to the diffuser of Chaldenby. With every single turn of the wheel as Infinity and Crazy Casper get through on the high wire. That will turn to Space Boy. Also getting through, capitalising on the lost momentum. It is all happening out here. Benji on the back of the Lion, who does not concern himself with positions behind, but now has to, because Benji is all over him. And indeed, Cardin Honk stole the words from right out of my mouth. Mackie is within DRS of the top 3. Get your popcorn out, ladies and gentlemen, because this blockbuster bonanza just got even better. A pit stop for the meme ruler as into pit road goes the Williams car. One Williams at the in the trenches, the other one, well, head up at the clouds. This is unbelievable from Mackie. Yellow flag, meanwhile, that's Bilbo. Oh, Bilbo Swagger Muffins with a spin out of the final corner. Flick spin, no wheel sheared off though, and they'll carry on their merry way. Meme ruler retires out of the race, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the road for the Williams driver. Again, massive misfortune, but equally a massive thank you for being a wonderful part of the history of this series. Mackie, can they get close enough? Crazy Casper can, though, on Infinity. Does, oh my god, massive moment! Massively in the wall! It's Crazy Casper! And I didn't know if there was a minute jink. I thought there was. No consolation whatsoever. That is front wing gone. More drama peeling out. And Crazy Casper, well, will feel that was incredulous, for lack of a better term. Crowd strike, that's exactly what the Mercedes crew are doing, just before the last lap of the race, which is what we're on now. One Mercedes killed. It's now the turn of the second Mercedes, who let Lion 09 into the points. Now you get points from 1st to 20th, but even so, more points on the road. They have got another penalty, but even more points on the road. 4 cars in the conversation for this race win. 2 tenths, massive shimmy and shake from Yuri. The closest he's ever been, though. It's now or never for the race win. To make it 3 from 12, or to have it 6 from 12. 50% win rate could be on the cards. Yuri can't quite get it yet. One final chance awaits into the right-hander. Look how close Yuri is. It's going to be the final few flurry of corners to decide our final race winner of Season 3. Chaldenby holds it round the outside. Can he hold P1? Yes, he can. For now, at least. Side by side they'll remain. We have no idea. Deserving winners in their own right. Make that Yuri at the final corner. It's a drag race to the line. But with DRS, surely not. Oh, he's done it. 5 thousandths of a second. Without the DRS. Chaldenby makes it supremely 6. To win not just this race, but to be crowned Season 3 champion of Throttle to You Bottle. I didn't get to announce it in the sprint, but if there was any way to adorn yourself as champion, that is how you do it. On older tyres, with everything against you, you're back up against the wall. What separates the champions from the rest of the grid? It's drives like that. Chaldenby, Season 3 champion. 6 race wins to the good. There could be no man more deserving. Credit to Yuri, who pushed all the way to the bitter end. Surely thought he had it done once the DRS was there, but it was not to be. Even so, what a sensational spectacle those two have given us. And that is how you go racing. Chris Haldenby. I'll allow the dance in this case. Melbourne winner. Australian sensation. British blood bleeding through and through. In the green machine. Champion of season 3. It's a drive for the ages. Let the champagne flow. In even greater fashion. And that might well also crown Kick Sauber as the constructor. They might well have already been Constructors Champions. I don't know what the Constructors case was. It might actually have been VCARB, for lack of a better term, because I don't actually know. There are your accolades. I mean, come on. Kick Sauber dominating. Driver of the day in overtakes goes to infinity. Fastest lap to Yuri, but cleanest driver. And your race winner is Chris Haldenby. Absolutely excellent. I do have to say, though, and Rawbeans has just echoed it, gutted for Safso. Absolutely gutted for him. But the race results, ladies and gentlemen. P1 Haldenby with Yuri in second. Duty rounds out the podium places. Mackie in fourth, just ahead of Infinity in P5. With Spaceboy, Kylo Ren, Kev, Highwire and Benji rounding out the top 10. Fortis, Lion, Bilbo, Taylor O'Brien, Meme Ruler round out our sort of finishing order. With Safso, Beaksy, Tanadran, Roseq Pro and Simply Will all failing to finish. Well, how about that? How about that? That is crazy. As Rawbean says that if it didn't happen to Saf, it would have been P7 again. Listen, consistency is key. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh my god, I sound run down. But this is what you lot did to me. Because of the racing you provided. This is what you lot did to me. Let's make that quite clear. But I would not have it any other way. Oh, mate, thank you, Simply Will. Appreciate it. I do my best, honestly. I haven't felt 100% today. I haven't felt 100% all week. It's really been weird. But I'm glad I could bring the entertainment. I'm glad I could create, well, paint a picture as much as possible of all of the wonderful things. But, yeah, massively appreciate you. Thank you. Still, thank you, man. I appreciate it, honestly. It means a lot. Oh, man. Cardinal says, yeah, I might have predicted wrong. Well, what can you do? What can you do, to be fair? Right. Oh, I'm drained. Jesus, that was a race and a half. Bloody hellfire. What am I going to do? I'm going to quickly send... I mean, he's probably in the chat, to be honest with you, but I'm going to send a message to, in theory, Haldenby. But if he is, I'm waiting on you for an interview. I will definitely interview you because you are the champion, ladies and gentlemen. Was in for a piece that, yeah, I know, I agree. What actually happened? Was it just, like, game physics, one of those things? Or was... Because I saw, I think, the tiniest jink. Yeah, go for it. Legend! Right, I'll get in the commentary VC then. I don't know what server I'm in. I saw it like a tiny, tiny jink, maybe. From, Infinity, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, the smallest movements can just cause carnage. It's ridiculous, for lack of a better term. No, go there. There we go. I am in the commentary box. And now we get Haldenby, hopefully, in here very shortly. As we have more people volunteering themselves. I might be sparing with them because I genuinely feel quite weird. I don't feel very well. But I'm still here. Who cares about that? Who cares about feeling ill? That's the state of mind, isn't it? Right. What am I doing? welcome. Legend, thank you. Appreciate that lots. The legend that is Spaceboy, ladies and gentlemen. He's all the way up in the lobby pre-race chat. Oh, maybe I can. Or can I? Probably not. Move to. That one there? Get him in. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Praise silence, although I can't be silent because that would make this interview quite weird. But praise silence for the champion of Season 3. Congratulations, Sheldon B. Firstly, absolutely thoroughly deserved. Probably no more a satisfying way to cap it off than that race win. What do you think?
And I was my straight line speed is what kept me in front of him, if I'm going to be honest. I was struggling on the tyres, but my straight line speed kept me in front.
No, it worked out. It worked out extremely well. It looked like that track position was extremely important. I know Australia has 4 DRS zones, but it looked like you used that to your advantage really well out there.
Yeah, when I saw I was gaining time, especially on the back straight, I was like, as soon as I got to like 4 or 5 temps, I went off the battery because I knew Yuri couldn't overtake me at that point. So that's why I was saving my battery most of the time.
Let's cast our minds back to the F2 sprint as well. Obviously, P7.
Can we not, please?
Can we not? Well, okay, let's move on. You got P7 though, still points on the board, but it seemed like a tumultuous start, but you were able to regain that extremely quickly when you got back in the Kick Sauber. So not all bad.
Yeah, the F2, I actually figured out how to actually do the stats on them this time round, for once. But then chaos ensued. I got hit, I got pushed off, I got spun round, I got given yellow front wing damage. So I was a lap slower than I was.
Jeez Louise.
Supposed to be, yeah. I was supposed to be doing mid-28s, but I was doing mid-29s.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal, honestly. But we'll ignore
May
it.
I ask one as well, if that's okay?
Of course you can. Go for it, Spaceboy.
So, Sheldon B, congrats on the title. How does it feel knowing that you didn't have KT there to ruin your day this season and cost you the championship?
Yes.
Well, I am going to say this. I nearly had to repeat that with Yuri in Spain on the first race of the season.
Oh, yeah, I remember
He did
that.
the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
He did the exact same thing. He must have been taking notes from Katie. That's all I'm going to say.
But I saw like the battle at the end and it ended like, what was it, 5 thousandths or something?
Yeah. I think my hards were like 50% plus.
Jeez.
So
Just a bad season from you, mate.
It's crazy. What was your tyre allocation? Because that I
harder.
kind of theorised. Oh, it was harder allocation still. Okay,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I went harder as well, but I felt like I should have gone balanced because by the end I had to pit again and there was like 10 laps to go and I didn't have a set of mediums, so it is what it is.
For me, sorry, you carry on. You go first.
Yeah. When that second safety car came out, I was like, my hearts can actually make it to the end now. So from then on in, I stuck to my plan and just staying out, even if another safety car came out. Unless it was like last 3-4 laps, obviously. But yeah, from the second safety car, I just stuck my mind and went, no, I'm staying out for the rest of the race on these tyres. And it worked out.
It did.
Just.
It worked out really well. No complaints on my end. I mean, yeah, crazy season for you. You've won 50% of the main event races that we've had. 6 race wins. Yeah. Ridiculous. So well done yourself. In the realistic
five of them in the kick, might I say.
Oh, yeah. 5
Oh, yeah. He does not, Carl. He does this all the time, right in front of me. He always gloats about how damn good he is at the game.
Just to rub salt into the wound.
Literally, it's the worst.
All I hear from you is jealousy.
Have you found
it is actually. I can't even argue with it.
It's been the main point of season 3, but how have you found the realistic cars? More importantly, because you've got quite an affinity with it now. How have you found that Kick Sauber to drive throughout the season?
I think I got more and more used to it, but there's still certain tracks where it properly struggles, and that's what really goes off on me. I'm like Australia, I wasn't at my quickest because obviously the kick's not the best there, but I managed with the setup to do it basically.
Excellent. No, honestly, absolutely excellent. I mean, what a season you've had, genuinely. I don't think there's much more to say other than that. You've been absolutely stellar all the way through. Haas, Sauber, doesn't matter. Particularly in the Sauber, you've been ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, I was unlucky in the first 2 races because I should have won the first 3, and I'm being honest, but I was so unlucky in the first 2.
For sure, definitely Spain. Definitely that was because I remember watching that back quite a lot. That was.
I can't remember the point deficit I overturned. I think it was like something like 20 odd points or something I overturned. So, because I think when you took your breakaway when you weren't commentating for a bit, I was like 20 odd points behind. When you came back, I was like 7 points ahead.
You just needed me out of the picture so you could get all the points.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
I like that. I respect that. No, honestly, Chris, massive congratulations. There's no more high plaudits than I can give you than you've had a phenomenal season. So really well done.
Yeah.
Enjoy the break off. We've got a few weeks to rest, but then season 4, come back swinging. Try and get a double championship on you.
Yeah, will do.
Brilliant. Well done, mate.
Class act. Cheers for that.
No worries, no worries.
GG's, buddy.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to deafen quickly so I can have a little bit of moment one-to-one with all of you. And then, since Space Boy is here, I am now going to Space Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Space Boy, welcome in. Mercedes Maestro. How did you find that race out there?
Well, I can't speak for the rest of the staff, but because they all got caught up in carnage, I feel like I was the only one who didn't get caught up in much carnage. I don't really know how I feel about it. Like quali, I've never felt that quick in my life in quali. I don't know where that's been all season. I might have been sandbagging, but who knows? Yeah, the race didn't feel as quick. Yeah, I'll take a P6, but again, I'm gutted for Saf for the season to end the way it did for him.
I couldn't agree more with you. I echo your sentiments completely. It's a genuinely horrible way. Blame Electronic Arabia, ladies and gentlemen.
It is the worst.
Have you been? I can't remember off the top of my head. Have you predominantly been in the Mercedes this season, or have there been other machines?
Yeah, I have. I had one race in the Ferrari in Brazil, and I didn't really enjoy it. But yeah, I think other than that, it was it's been fun. I feel like I got better over time, but the last couple of weeks I've had a really bad string of luck. I'm mainly blaming Beaksy because he wasn't there those weeks, but yeah, it is what it is, and today felt really, really good, and yeah, hopefully I can take that into season 4.
I really hope so, for sure. As you are a staff member of this wonderful league, throttle to your bottle. Just to get your thoughts. Obviously, we've had realistic performance this season. Feels like, from my view, the outside looking in, of course, it's really managed to compress that grid together, which is exactly what people want to see. Lots and lots of racing, but in the driver's seat, how has it been for you having that realistic performance caveat?
It really didn't affect me too much because the car felt pretty similar, but I don't really feel like I'm the right person to ask that. I feel like it might be better to ask someone who's in a weaker car like Chowdenby. But yeah, it felt good from where I'm at, but it was just mainly bad luck and the fact that I missed the first couple of races in the season. I really didn't get to where I wanted to this season. It was my weakest season overall, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes for next season.
Well, don't worry. Couple of weeks break, plenty of time to fix that for season 4. So it's not a
freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom. You know what? Your PR spokesperson Katie's been in the Twitch chat and they said no comment on your behalf. So there we go.
Yeah,
diplomacy.
I don't know what that no comment was for. I've already forgotten what I said.
Probably me asking what you thought about realistic cars in season 3. Very diplomatic. I like what you're doing there.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I probably wasn't the right person to ask because I'm in a quicker car.
Sure. No, I completely understand that. No problem at all. But something you probably can comment. Katie says no comment again. Highlight of the season. Highlight of the season from your end. What would you put high up in your estimations from your side?
I don't really know. There's been a lot of good moments that have come from this season. I'd say you doing the Brazil race and going as far as you did in that, getting a podium from the back was up there. I'd say the clip that we mentioned earlier with Yuri and Chris at Spain was comedy gold. And yeah, from my end, I'd probably say that Australia quali. But yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of good moments that have come from this season. It's had its moments here and there. It's had its low moments. It's also had a lot of good moments. And yeah, I just want to. I am yapping, by the way. I apologize,
Carry
but
on, you're fine, mate. You're fine.
just want to say if anyone's in the chat right now, if is there a link to join the Discord that we can
Link
post
to join the
if possible?
Discord. I hope so. Let's find out. Who's on it like a carb on it? I'll try and beat them to it, but I think probably Katie's going to beat me to it. Well, there's already a command
Yeah.
in place.
It's the only thing she can be quick at.
Exclamation mark Discord. No, it didn't work. I tried.
Oh well.
Link
Mission
to
third. We'll get him
Discord,
next time.
ladies and Pat Mike. Never mind.
Thanks,
Katie and
Pat
Mike
Mike.
both beat me. Fair play.
But yeah. Basically, just thanks for the season. It's been a great season once again, and season 4's coming up in, I believe, next month. I believe it'll be relatively soon. I hope, but yeah, if you're interested in joining, come on down. There's room for everyone, even the reserves, and yeah, we'll be happy to see you there.
Couldn't agree more with you. Honestly, I could not agree more with you. We'll be back for season 4, bigger and better than ever. Do you know what, Space Boy? I'll bestow you an honour because I'm gonna wrap it up because I feel quite weird. But regardless, I'll bestow you with an honour. You get to do the outro with me. We're gonna have some fun. So,
Oh, you're putting pressure on me, mate. But here we go.
nah, you'll be fine. I trust you. First of all, from my end, at least, just a massive thank you at the end of the day for multiple reasons. Firstly, thank you for having me as a commentator in this wonderful league, but also thank you for being bloody patient with me throughout work, throughout being egregiously late multiple times. But I appreciate you lots. Honestly, it's a wonderful league to be a part of. This season has been completely crazy. I even drove in it a couple of times, and I finally won in the Kick Sauber.
Yeah, you won a race before I did.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Well, I mean, it was Monza, but and it took me qualifying P3 instead of P18. But hey, it's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
The last of first.
Keep rubbing it in, and I won't do that intro. Outro, I mean.
Oh, you gotta love it. What else is there to say? Obviously, a massive thank you to all of you that have watched throughout the season, whether that is here, whether that's on the various people's channels that stream this league on a Friday night, evening, whatever time of day it might be for them. Your support does not go unnoticed, just to be quite clear. And I think final thing from me is just a massive congratulations to Chowdenby. What a season he has had, but don't discount the likes of Safso, Yuri, who have been up there winning races, have been throwing the Championship Challenge his way all the way through, and also to all of the staff at TTYB, to all the mods on the Twitch channel, etc., the people in the background that you hardly see working. They're the ones that make all of this possible. So, massive shout-outs to all of you, including Spaceboy, who's next to me. Absolute legend.
Hi.
So, massively appreciate you all. And all that remains for me to say is, I've been Carl Poranic. You can find me, not unfortunately, in the Cutthroats. Ooh, where do I go this time? I haven't prepared for this one. You won't find me in the Cutthroat Koala Farms of Canberra. You won't find me there. But you will find me at my name. Carl Poranic, spelt something like that. If you type that in most social medias, you'll probably find me there. What a pleasure it's been to be your commentator, and I hand it over now to Spaceboy for some final closing comments on the season we've had.
Honestly, you've perfectly summed it up for me. But I also just want to add one more thing, and that's thank you to the drivers who have participated in this season for taking time out of their day to come race with us. You've been an absolute pleasure to race with, and hope to see you on the grid next season.
Could not agree more with you. Well, what a sentimental end to what has been a superlative season, ladies and gentlemen. But don't forget, there is still plenty more to catch up on. There will be many highlights. There might even be a special stream or two. to just, you know, canter over the season, enjoy all the marvellous moments we've had. So make sure you're following here on Twitch. We also have YouTube. We also have Discord. You've seen the links. Make sure you get yourselves over there to be part of this wonderful community. What a race we've had. A fitting season finale. Just 5,000ths separating our race winner and the chaser. What a championship it's been. All that remains is, I'm Carl Paranik. This is Throttle to Your Bottle. Take care of yourself.
Ride it on the edge, one mistake away from gravel, a glory's ledge. Push it past the limit, don't you lift or break. If you're not dancing with disaster, you're not wide awake. Throttle till you bottle, this is how we race. In the fire of endurance, we find our place. Side by side into turn 3. Drafting down the straight like we're born to be. F1 pace with an LMP soul. Pit stop dreams, flat out goals. Overtake clean or defend like hell. DRS wide and the gap won't dwell. Discord's lit but the track comes first. Champions are built where the tires burst. Throttle till you bottle. Feel the G's rise. Tearing through the sim world under pixel skies. No reset button, just grit and gears. Through the heat and the heartbreak, the wins and the tears. Till you bottle, it's the racer's creed. Full send in the sim, full heart at speed. From rookies to vets, we